Welcome back to Preparing for the Unexpected Live. We are at the Continuity Resilience Today conference. This is day two, which I guess would be what, hour six, James?
I don't even know. I don't even know where we're at. Alex Fullick, James Green, day 2, hour 6. I don't know. It's all running together, Alex. I love it.
We've got people stopping by today. We've got some sponsors as well. Of course, we've always got lots to talk about.
Always a lot to talk about. Before we begin, this hour of our broadcast is sponsored by Illuminate Advisory, the risk advisory firm inspiring organizations to harness the power of risk. Alex, I want to start with a brand new segment that I just made up 5 minutes ago, and we're going to do this, I think, every time going forward. When you go to a conference, it's important to network. It's important to go to sessions. It's important to go to the mixers, which we talked about yesterday. But there's another thing that's important to me and everyone, and it's the swag. So we've got a new showcase today. It's going to be our best swag of the conference. And this year's best swag is, hopefully you guys can see this, is this Frisbee by Emergency Management and Training. I don't think I've seen a Frisbee since I was a little kid. This got me overly excited. I was eyeing these yesterday, these bright orange Frisbees, checking them out today. Our friends at Emergency Management and Training were kind enough to loan me one. But Alex, what I thought was interesting is on the back of every Frisbee, there is a sticker and it says multi-purpose emergency device. So I want to read to you some of the things that you may not expect to do with a Frisbee during a disaster declaration. The first thing they suggest is that you can use this as message delivery, attach your message, and throw it. Pretty standard for a Frisbee. The second thing is as a hat for sun protection. Guys like me, it's certainly important. I always wear a hat outside. I have lots of
I still have a full head.
Lots of baseball hats, go Lightning, for my Canadian friends. But I've never thought of using a Frisbee as a hat. Another one is interesting, good at a conference, relationship builder. Throw this between friends. So I guess if you have an enemy here, can't play Frisbee with them, maybe play dodgeball.
Well, maybe you could throw it at them if they're an enemy.
And then the last one, a little questionable to me that I'll share, footwear. In the event of an emergency, tied to feet as sandals, or more applicable here in Toronto today as snowshoes. So Alex, I'll ask you one question. Oh, we're fading away.
We're fading away.
I promise we're still here. One question to you, Alex. How desperate would you have to be to use this Frisbee as snowshoes?
Considering where I live, if that was my snowshoe, I would be in much bigger dire straits than anything else.
Okay, so
because I can't imagine using a Frisbee as a snowshoe or anything along that lines. Not up here.
So we've got some gaffer tape off to the side. We've got our Frisbees. Hello to our friends at Voice America. Yes, we see you in the chat. We are paying attention today.
Yeah.
Yesterday, for everyone, Alex and I forgot at times that we should monitor the chat. So if our great team at Voice America needed to share something with us and we weren't paying attention, they got very frustrated. Our apologies on that. We'll try to do better, but we can't make any promises. And yes, if you notice, if you're one of our 3 dedicated fans, I think my sons and my mother, who have watched all 6 hours of this broadcast, a little concerning. Love you guys. We have our original mics.
I don't think we should have worn gray today. It seems not,
do we need to? We can pop the.
I'm just going to take this off. There we go.
We're only 10 minutes in, and Alex is already getting undressed. People, we're going off the rails.
It's not that kind of show.
I was going to say that's a different channel. But we had our own personal business continuity plan yesterday. Alex has 3 main mics, two mics, a backup mic. Then we have a fourth microphone as a backup to the backup. And we were on mic 4 within the first 5 minutes of our broadcast yesterday. So thankfully, I guess when we talked yesterday about what is resilient for you may not be resilient for another organization or family. Apparently, to you and I, our resilience plan is 4 microphones, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, and the weird thing is everything was set up exactly the same.
Exactly.
And today, microphones 1 and 2 are working.
I love
Yesterday
it.
they wouldn't. You know,
We're early
and Voice
on.
America's quite happy about that. They're already telling us in the chat.
Yes. So we have a big day today, Alex. Second day. It's snowing outside, which a Florida guy like me is very excited that it's snowing. I know some people are not excited. You had to drive. I don't know. Where do you live? Vancouver? I'm not good with geography as an American.
Well, you're way off base on that
No,
one.
I'm just teasing. I know where Vancouver is.
I'm just an hour west of Toronto in Guelph. And luckily, all the snow missed us last night. We were supposed to get a real big dumping, and we missed it, which is why I left right after we finished recording and packed things away. And I thought, well, let's not tempt fate, get home. And the drive was easy. The roads were dry. The snow missed us. And I thought I'd come early today just in case. And same thing. No snow. All missed us. Roads were fine, except for a couple of jackknife trailers on the way in. But got here real early and we're ready to go.
We've got a big day today, a lot of guests. Our first guest is on deck and here early,
Yes.
which I love. Growing up in my family, if you were on time, you were late. So my dad was half hour early to everything, no matter what. And he still does that to this day. I know if I'm supposed to meet my dad at 4, I'll try to get there at 3:45. He'll already be there at 3:30, and he'll call me at 3:31 asking where I am. So I appreciate early. Our first guest coming up in a few minutes, Chloe Domrovsky with the Disaster Recovery Institute International.
Mhm.
Very excited to have her as a guest. A lot of other guests today. I've got a few surprises, maybe a lot of things to talk about. We're in break at the second day here at Continuity and Resilience today. People are grabbing their coffee, grabbing
Coffees
their
and
swag,
donuts and
donuts. Hopefully there's some more muffins. I survived on muffins yesterday. It's amazing. Breakfast and lunch and dinner of champions. I guess carbs and sugar and tea. Very exciting. I noticed today, Alex, walking around the exhibit hall early on, the back of the community emergency response team operational support vehicle that I'm obsessed with was opened. The lights are on. And so what it is, for those of us who aren't here, the CERT Niagara has taken, I think it's like an older or maybe decommissioned ambulance.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was actually.
And retrofitted it into a community emergency response team vehicle. So I don't know if you were supposed to go in there. I didn't see any ropes or guards. So I went in there this morning because that's my risk tolerance. And it looked like, there were water bottles, there was food, there were first aid items, kind of all things that maybe you as a community responder might need to help your people. So pretty exciting. Now there's some people over there. They probably saw me climbing in and out of it. And now they've got it roped off. So I apologize. Anyone else who can't see the CERT vehicle.
So they've roped it off because of you?
Yeah, well, that's typically how I roll.
We forgot to mention our sponsor for this hour, by the way.
I think we mentioned our sponsor, but if not, I'll bring it up again. This hour is brought to you by Illuminate Advisory, the risk advisory firm inspiring organizations to harness the power of risk. Thank you for sponsoring sessions both yesterday and today.
Mm-hmm.
One of our 2 featured sponsors, Stone Road and Illuminate Advisory, sponsoring across the entire conference. Very excited of that. Speaking of conferences, Alex, we do have some things we're probably going to announce in the next 90 days.
Yes.
Of where we're going to be in 2023. So if you're watching, if you have some guesses of where we are going to be, let us know. If there are conferences you would like us to attend or
stay away from,
send it all. We'll keep it off the air. We want to know the good conferences, the bad conferences, the fun conferences. Alex, for me this year, I think the conference in Louisville was the most fun I had, between the Louisville Slugger Museum, which was interesting, and the tour of how they make baseball bats. I now know more about baseball bats than any one person probably should.
And we were there at the
Very
beginning
exciting.
of the Kentucky Stakes,
Kentucky Derby
Kentucky
season.
Derby, sorry,
I
season.
learned
So it was just a
ton
crazy
about
time.
bourbon. We had some great barbecue.
Yep.
That was probably the most fun I had outside of the conference itself in a city. So huge shout out
fun.
to that organizer. That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun because that was the first time we did something live too.
Yes, it was.
With, well, I wouldn't say the same setup, but, you know, a lot of masking tape and bits and pieces put together.
We do have.
Actually worked really well. We had a great time with that. You know.
Yes, we did. So, Alex, I don't know if you're a betting man, but I'm going to put you on the spot today. As everyone who watches our broadcast know, sometimes people either don't realize or don't care that we are broadcasting live. Yesterday, we had one person interrupt the broadcast, which was great. So, over under, I'm going to put the over under at 1.5 of number of people who will interrupt our broadcast. So, would you take the over today, meaning you think 2 or more people will find themselves sharing some time with us, or less?
I'm not really a gambling person, but
Well, we're
go,
just all we're
let's
betting
go
for.
over. Let's go for 2 people.
We're gonna bet
Yeah.
for some of your coveted chocolate mints here, so we're not really gambling. So you said 2 people.
2 people. I think
All
2
right.
people.
So check back in with us later today at the end of the broadcast, everyone. We'll let you know.
Can I count the one person who already stopped by before we were on the air?
Unfortunately, no, because we were not on the air.
Darn.
The on the air sign that we've got to get some shots of our setup. I think people would appreciate, or maybe be horrified if they're into my buddy Steve Hindle. If you're watching, very focused on cable and cord management, he would be in tears with what we have right now, but we'll get there. But my favorite addition to our broadcast this conference is the on the air sign that you purchased. We have a red and white on the air sign that goes on and off. Yes, I'm a little kid. The thing's amazing. I want to take it home with me. A lot of fun. I think it's helped some people recognize that we are actually
doing
on the
something
air and not just 2 guys in a booth talking to themselves. So far, so good with that.
Yep, so far. So what do you think? What are your impressions of the conference so far, James? For me, after yesterday's rocky start, we fell into a good rhythm. We had lots to say, lots of different topics to talk about. We weren't literally on both sides of the screen at one point. We actually got closer, it don't bite. So that got better. Our sound got better. How we were coordinating things got better. And talking to different people was good. Some of the vendors would stop by and just kind of watch what was going on. And I thought overall it's been a good experience. And it's I think a pretty good turnout for the first time for a Canadian conference anyway, for the first time in almost 3 years.
Yeah, absolutely. So Alex and I have been at many conferences throughout the world this year, and this is the first conference in Canada I've been to since before COVID. And in speaking with a lot of the attendees on the shuttle bus this morning, for many Canadians who are in emergency management or business continuity, this is the first conference they've been to since 2019. And it's fun to see the level of excitement people have coming back to live and in-person events. There was just this buzz on the shuttle bus early this morning. You would not think that people would be very happy to see each other at 7:30 in the morning when it's cold, when it's snowing. People were so excited. It was almost felt like we were going on a field trip. I was waiting to get a box lunch from my mom before I got on the bus. But there's been a lot of excitement, a lot of people who are very enthusiastic to be here. A lot of, majority, I would say, 80 to 85% of the participants are Canadian. So
Yeah.
their first conference in 3 years, they're excited. You can hear the chatter in the exhibit hall right now during break. It just keeps building and building. So the excitement is great. The level of energy is great.
And there are people talking with vendors as well,
Yep.
on both sides of us.
Absolutely.
So it's not just attendees, but vendors as well.
Dan Joyce and his team have done a phenomenal job. Very smooth registration process. Meals have been great. Breakouts, sessions, speakers. Everything's been fantastic. I love how close we are to the airport. I love how close we are to the host hotels. There's not a lot of commuting for me. Unfortunately, there is for you.
For me, yeah,
but it's been nice
different.
to get through the airport, get to the hotel, get to the conference center. I think that's a lot of things that people often overlook when scheduling a conference. Okay, you land at an airport and it's going to be 2.5 hours before you get to where it is. I love this efficiency, this respecting people's time. Saw a lot of people with their luggage today. So right after the conference, they're able to get home.
Catch either heading home or catching a plane or
which
doing
is
something.
great.
I was going to call Chloe over to get started, but of course, Chloe has been sequestered, I guess, with someone else who wants to talk with her. So we'll wave our arms or something when she's able to come on over. If you like that video, thumbs up. If you didn't like that video, thumbs down. But leave me a message and let me know your thoughts. Of course, don't forget to subscribe. And in the meantime, stay prepared, everybody.